Welcome back, everyone. This is Betska, the Guru Coach, together with Raj Vashisht and our incredible, very knowledgeable guest, Jason Costain. And we are discussing fraud, the different elements and aspects of fraud. We've discussed teenage money mules, we've discussed investment fraud, and now we want to move into cryptocurrency fraud and social media. So, off camera, did you say that cryptocurrency was the biggest fraud thing going? Is that what you said?
Well, I mean, certainly during the crypto boom years, which were probably 2020 to 2024, 23, 24, there was a lot, such a massive amount of public interest in crypto, and the
Yeah.
prices were going up that, there was this kind of everybody had money to invest in it, and
Hmm.
a lot of scammers were placing adverts on social media and on websites on the internet to trap victims. So people would literally go online, having heard their friends talking about crypto or heard it mentioned on social media, and they would literally Google, I want to invest in crypto, and some of the first adverts that would come up would be fraudsters, and the only thing they would ask would be, give us your contact details, yeah, and within a few hours, they'd be getting a phone call from a scammer and persuading them to invest in crypto. So it's it's
Gee.
it, it's tailed off a little bit these days because the price of crypto has crashed. And you know,
Mm.
interesting how everybody who said crypto is the next best thing, and they are crypto millionaires, has gone quite quiet, haven't they? But the
Hmm.
UK Financial Conduct Authority did say, for the last 6 years or more, if you are investing in crypto, be prepared to lose all of your money. And it's gambling. As far as I'm concerned, it's not investment, it's gambling. And
Wow.
if you buy crypto to try and get a return, what you're effectively doing is gambling on the fact that you think the value of that crypto is going to go up after you bought it. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
it might go up because, as we saw with Donald Trump, just before he was inaugurated, he launched a cryptocurrency token and everybody bought it. And then the price crashed a day or two later. So
Oh.
you can bet your bottom dollar that Donald Trump and family benefited from the price hike. They sold a number of their holdings, and then the value of it slumped a couple of days later. So I don't think we've heard the
Yeah.
last of that story, but it won't come out properly until after is ended his presidential term. But even
Hmm.
he was involved in what appears to have been an crypto investment fraud. Well, not fraud, a crypto investment scheme that has all the hallmarks of a pump and dump type investment
Hmm.
scheme, which you would have seen
Hmm.
on, if you've ever seen the film Wolf of Wall Street. That was pump and dump scheme for penny shares. They convinced small-time American investors to buy them. They pump up the value of the company, persuade people it's going to be worth a lot more, but they actually held the shares themselves and sold out when the price was high, and then
Hmm.
subsequently the value collapsed. So crypto's in a downward trajectory at the moment. It's less seen as an investment opportunity than it was, and there's less victims than there were. But the minute it
Hmm.
starts increasing again, which it might, I suppose, then you'll see more people piling into crypto. But yeah, people going online literally saying, I want to buy crypto, where do I start? So banks have
Right.
tried,
Yeah.
regulators have tried to sort of regulate the industry, and some of the
Hmm.
crypto firms have tried to subject themselves to regulatory regimes because they want to be seen as legitimate rather than being associated with fraud. Um,
And getting back to your story of President Trump, I mean, he's a very smart man, right? He's a deal maker and so on. And so I'm going to guess he was himself scammed. You know, he didn't know what he was getting into. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, a book will probably come out on that, but um, I mean, the point is, even the smartest men in the world can get scammed. So be very wary of what's really going on here.
yeah,
You're, go ahead.
yeah.
Hmm.
I've seen some victims where they've literally been, the chief executive of a big company, and they've been scammed for millions of pounds. I mean,
Oh,
millions of pounds. And actually, with
yeah.
that, I suppose when you've dealt with large business and large sums of money, and then it comes to your own investments, you're possibly a little bit too confident in your abilities to spot a good or a bad investment. And I've seen people who, at the end of their careers, having earned a lot of money and accumulated a lot of wealth, and very smart people then go on to invest, £1 million in a cryptocurrency investment scheme that ultimately was never seen again. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, anyone can become a victim. It just depends on circumstances and whether you're looking for something to invest in at the right time or at the wrong time, rather.
So, a lot of these early adopters of cryptocurrency were trading on the dark web, right? So
Yeah, well, crypto has
that tells you something.
crypto has its origins in a Korean website called I forget something video, but it was basically selling child pornography, and the way you paid was with crypto, and
Oh,
the way you paid for your illegal goods, whether it's drugs or guns on the dark web, was crypto. So anyone who's a very early cryptocurrency holder, they were, like you said, perhaps on the dark web, but it's become legitimized, I suppose. But
yeah,
ultimately, you might
yeah.
lose all of your money. You might as well gamble it on horse racing as you're not investing in a horse race, are you? But people call it investment in crypto. They're just gambling that the price might go up. But I've got a couple of friends who told me all about the money they were making in crypto and how much their portfolio was now worth going back a few years. And now they've gone very quiet and
Uh,
they're very unhappy because they've lost a lot of money.
yeah,
On paper, of
yeah.
course, it was a paper gain.
Hmm.
Now it's an actual loss because that it's worth less
Yeah.
than what they paid.
Wow, boy, Raj,
Mm.
talk about cruel, huh? What is happening with crypto is absolutely. I'm my mouth is is down here at my belly. That's absolutely incredible. So,
But
how
if
do
I
these?
suppose, I
Go
suppose
ahead.
for me, it's like it's linked to the what can you afford to lose? And actually, if you're a
Oh,
young guy or girl and you've got
mm,
a couple of $100, you know what? Maybe you could invest in crypto. Can you afford to lose $200? Yeah, you probably can. If it doubles in price, wow, it's 400 now, but it's not a huge amount of money. And then you
yeah.
might get regret, think, I wish I'd have had $10,000. But actually, if you're coming to the end of your career, and you've got your life savings, and that's been accumulated through very careful financial planning
Mm,
and careful saving, and then you're prepared to gamble it all. Then that it's a gamble, and I think people need to think of it in that way, really. So
well, the writing's on the wall. So, I mean,
yeah.
why bother?
What's always struck me is the final thing I say about crypto, because I've never bought any myself, and I've looked at it though very closely. But I just a lot of the PR that comes with crypto seemed to be very similar in the way it was written, and I just thought, how
Hmm.
much of this is just a kind of the same crypto marketing type people pumping cryptocurrency, and I think a lot of it was the industry self-fueling hysteria, and
Oh
and
yeah.
a lot of the adverts and a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
commentary all sounded very similar, and it was this kind of
Uh,
pseudo tech language that sounded great, but actually when you peeled it back,
hmm.
a lot of it was garbage. And,
Hmm.
and I do think that it definitely suckered a lot of people in, and a lot of it was
Yeah.
a bit of a pump and dump scheme by people who bought in
Mm.
already and wanted to see the value going up. How do you see the value going up? You tell everybody how great it is and what they're
Yeah.
missing out on. Fear of
Yeah.
missing out.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
people then pile in, but by that point, the early investors have taken a lot of money out, and one of the biggest things I said was, international payments and payment friction and the cost of banking and cryptocurrency solves all of that. And I think to myself, I've never had a problem sending a payment to a friend in the UK,
Mm.
at least.
Oh.
And
Mm.
even if I send money internationally, which I've done rarely, when it typically has arrived, pretty quickly, and it maybe
Hmm.
cost me pennies or pounds, not tens of thousands. So the whole crypto model, I wonder what it's actually for. You mentioned earlier, Betsy, your dentist said they'd accept crypto as a
Yep.
method of payment.
Yeah. Hmm.
well, fair enough, but I can't walk down my high street and pay crypto to anybody that's got a shop open. So I still don't
Yeah.
quite understand what it's for when it comes to
Yeah.
financial settlement. I could understand it if,
Yeah.
say, I bought an expensive Louis Vuitton piece of
Hmm.
luggage and I wanted to
Right.
prove I was the owner and prove it was genuine. The tokenization is useful. Cryptographic tokens are quite useful to prove provenance. But in terms of the
Hmm.
whole payment systems and banks not wanting you to know about crypto and don't want it to succeed, kind of a lot of banks
Yeah.
were just looking at it thinking it's quite risky.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive to transact.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
kind of solving a problem that doesn't quite exist. But if you listen to
Hmm.
the gurus, they'll tell you it's the future
Yeah.
of banking, and I'm not quite sure it's solving a problem we've actually
All
got, to be
right.
honest.
Um, I would love to have a discussion with you around, will victims get their money back from, crypto scams and so on. Have you written any articles on that? Maybe we could
Yeah,
send
yeah.
people to your articles.
Yes, on my website, which is
Okay.
javloc.com, so
Right.
JAVLOC.
Yeah.
There's an article there about cryptocurrency victims, get their money
Okay.
back, question mark, and the reality is
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no, it's
No.
very,
Okay.
very people
All right.
are able to recover the funds, and the reality is
I knew you were going to say that.
yeah, only people who've lost lots of money tend to have the finances to go after cryptocurrency tracing. But even
Yeah.
then, it's very, very difficult to get your money back. I mean, I had
Right.
one poor victim; she'd lost £3,000, and she said to me, she was contacted a year later by somebody who said, "Oh, we can get your money back," and that
Oh.
was a scammer as well. So once you've lost
Oh.
your money once in a scam, you're likely to be put on a suckers
Scammed
list for the
again. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And
So,
Uh-huh.
the best way I could describe it to her was to say, look, every cryptocurrency token transaction is unique, and you could potentially find the wallet it went to if you use a specialist crypto tracing service, which might cost you a couple of £1,000 to do. But
Mm-hmm.
the reality is, it's like going into a a big bar where there's, say, 300 people, and you've got the serial numbers on the dollar bills, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody takes that money off you and says they're going to invest it for you and bring it back, and they spent it somewhere in the pub, but you can't find them. If you
Yeah.
then say, guys, my dollar bills are in here somewhere, people say, well, is this one of them? Yes, it is. Well, it's mine now. So
Aha.
they might
Right.
have accepted it in good faith. It's a bit
Mm-hmm.
like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
We're going
Yeah.
to do stop everybody on the way out, empty the tills,
Mm-hmm.
then say
Yeah. Yeah.
that was my money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can
Mm-hmm.
trace it theoretically. You
Mm-hmm.
might find somebody who's got a lot of it in the pocket, and you might think, oh, were you the scammer? But actually, getting that back, getting that payment, getting the person to give you the money back is an entirely different problem. So if you're a
Yeah.
small scale investor in crypto, you're not going to see your money back. You haven't got the money to trace it, and even if you did, how are you going to get that person? How are you going to
Got
compel
it.
them to give it back?
Okay. Great. Raj, did you have a question?
yeah, I
Sorry,
have
right?
one question because, like, I have seen in the market here also, like a stock market, everybody stockholders say you invest this, that, blah, blah, blah. So I have seen so many said they have license, so you invest in this crypto, this, that. So people are not understanding. Actually, the normal people, they don't understand because they thought like a crypto is also like a stock market.
Mhm.
So what is your
Um,
advice on this?
Well, I mean, I said it earlier, didn't I? That's not my words. It's the UK Financial Conduct Authority. If you invest in crypto, be prepared to lose all of your money. The problem is it's being marked. I mean, you see the names of crypto
yeah.
firms side of Formula One
Mm-hmm.
cars on
Mm-hmm.
football, sponsors jerseys, and it gives it legitimacy. And but it doesn't. That does not reduce the level of risk exposure, and the level of risk exposure is just far too high. And that's why I would
Mm-hmm.
say, again, anyone who says they're investing in crypto, swap the word investing for gambling, and that's a little
Yeah.
that's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more accurate in terms of the level of risk that you expose yourself to. So therefore, you're
Yeah.
gambling on crypto,
Mm-hmm.
and
Got it. Okay.
where you getting your information from? You're getting your information from online, so it's not particularly well regulated or policed, and you're getting it from a bunch of people who have probably have a vested interest in pumping the value of a certain cryptocurrency. So you're just simply believing what you're told and throwing money into it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it goes up, you win, and if it goes down, you lose big. And it may as well, it's just as likely to go down as up these days. So, who's smart? Who is the smart person in that transaction?
Jason, can you quickly, in 2 or 3 sentences, tell us about buying stuff on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. Is it safe? People need to know this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're sending a payment to somebody you've for goods and services you've seen on TikTok, FaceTime, whatever, if you're sending a payment, this is you sending the money to someone you've never met for goods they're promising to send you. You probably got very little comeback if the goods don't arrive. So the best way to pay if you're actually going to transact on those platforms is to use an established payment method like a credit card or debit card, or maybe PayPal, because there are some payment protections in there for consumers, and there are some standards that merchants who accept those payments have to come up to, and there's something in the background called chargeback rights, which means that if the goods aren't delivered, you can get your money back. So if I was going to buy something that I'd seen on Facebook, I would be only paying by recognized payment like MasterCard, Visa, Amex, maybe PayPal, because there's some buyer protection. And you might get your money back from your bank if it proves to have been a fraud. I saw one recently where it was a big designer label, like I think it was Gucci. There was this website popped up on Instagram. It looked like Gucci merchandise, really cheap, and they even accepted card payments to do it. I knew it was a scam, but I put my card number in to see what happened next. I only had £1 in the account, so I knew what would happen. What then happened about 10 minutes later was a transaction went out to a totally different merchant for about $300 in Turkey. So what it was it's just a honeypot trying to steal your card details.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
yes,
that's all it is.
Of course. That's all it is. Yeah.
So if it's goods and services, and I would just pay by credit card, debit card, and MasterCard, Visa, Amex, and there you go.
Well, Jason, I mean, we could stay here for another hour, and there's so much to this, and you are very, very knowledgeable on it. And I'm asking all of the people who are following us here to watch these videos at least twice, because there's so much in here, and I want to go back and watch them because I'm missing stuff there. The depth is so brilliant. So Jason, God bless you for what you do. Thank you for helping to stop the cruelty in this world. Yeah, Raj?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just if anybody is watching this now, I've been a victim and they're really, really struggling, just contact me on the website. I've done some pro bono work if you like to try and help them get the money back.
Wow.
It's by no means guaranteed, and if I have the time, I'll do it. And I've helped a handful of people now get their life savings back, and it's not easy, but there is. I can help them, but go to your bank first. Go to your bank first.
Go to the bank first.
Yeah.
Very generous of you. Thank you, Jason. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, nice to chat again. Take care.